purpose of this video really is to kind of work on navigation skills and just go through a quick few things that I've been learning along the way with Corsair, many of which is already really put out there. So the first I'd like to point out is this badass livery I found. I know a lot of people like to talk shit about the French, but man, it's a sharp looking livery for the Corsair. The guy who did the job on this just did a phenomenal job, in my opinion. I mean, I'm digging the colors, I'm digging the historical significance behind the paint scheme, and I think it looks really cool. So kudos to the livery maker out there on the user files who did this. He's got 3 other ones out there that are awesome. The next thing I wanted to talk about was some kneeboard stuff that I've kind of changed around and we've gone over. So this is the default kneeboard for RPM settings, blower settings, so on and so forth. Not bad. I mean, it works, right? But there's some other stuff out there that I'd like to get into or start working on, which is radio navigation. This segment identifier I found on the users file works really well. I really like this. We found this do not exceed limitations again for your RPM, altitude, manifold pressure, so on and so forth. So it's a good quick reference for when you're flying if you need to look at that when you're getting the hang of it. I think once you've been flying it enough, you start to memorize, where the sweet spot is and what you need to do. So eventually, this will probably not be needed as much, just more or less for reference. This was a good one when I first started using the radio for navigating. Like I've been using it a lot, but one thing I'm not sure. There's a good video out there on how to use radio navigation, and I'm not 100% sure the Essex identifier up there is correct for Morse code. It seemed like the video I was watching had a different tone, so we'll see here in a minute because I think that might be off. These were early rudimentary kneeboards that were released on the user file, and the Essex identifier might be a little different. But again, looking at your segment identifiers here, so all the letters that you're going to be using for radio navigation, their corresponding Morse code signals, I believe match this same chart. I just have this one because it's easier to look at and leave up as a reference. The last one I have, this is something I personally own. I just found this awesome deal a long time ago at an old antique shop for like $3 or $4. Some dude had an aircraft spotter's handbook from World War II from 1943, and it has everything in there. You can kind of see the tabs go down through the different engine types and locations of the engines. So not really relevant right now, but I copied this, and I didn't do the best job because it's kind of hard holding that book open from 1943. I didn't want to rip it, like tear it. But this was one of the original spotter guides for the Mitsubishi Zero that they had. So I thought it was pretty cool, right? We don't have the Zero in there just yet, but I think as far as DCS goes, really the only reason I have this in here, we're going to know what the Zero looks like because there's not going to be a whole lot of other aircraft out there to fight in the beginning. But it does give the specifications. Who knows if they're going to match, the AI is going to match this. But it gives a good indication of what roughly the performance was from a top level, right? It's not very detailed, but still pretty cool to have on the kneeboard. Again, not something you're probably going to reference a lot, but they do have a ton of other aircraft in there, especially for Normandy. The Messerschmitt, the 109, the Focke-Wulf 190, and then everything for the U.S. as well. So if there's any request out there for me to dig into this manual and find another one that you would like on a kneeboard, I can do that. It's not a big deal. And then we're just back to the old school stuff. So without further ado, I'm just going to work on using radio navigation today, crank up, get out to the carrier, do some touch and goes. And I also found the culprit of my 3-second stutter. I hate to say it, but WebRoot SpySweeper, antivirus is a great software. I love it. I've never had issues with it with a game before. I've never used Norton antivirus or any of the Microsoft bullshit. I've always removed them from my computer because I've just never had the best luck with those. I didn't like them. There's just too much advertising and nonsense. So a long time ago, I got hooked on SpySweeper, and it's been great. But come to find out, that is exactly what was causing those 3-second stutters. That was the issue. So now anytime I fly DCS, I disconnect it, and while I'm flying, and you know, no troubles at all. So I'm really pleased to figure that out. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get cranked up here and yeah, get going. So I guess that does probably sound like the identifier there. We've got a long, short, short, long, short, 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 long. I don't know, that just seems off to me. It's supposed to be the identifier for the Essex. Maybe my brain's not clicking with that. Alright, we'll get in the air and listen to it a little more. Go through our checklist here real quick. Trim. Trim set. Tail wheels unlocked, mixture's full, magnetos are good. We'll adjust our flaps here in a minute. We'll worry about compass setting here when we get airborne. Artificial horizons uncaged. Covers down, fuel pumps on. Cow flaps are good, engine temperature is good. Tail hook's good to go. Good. Alright, tail wheel lock, trim's good, make sure it's good. Flaps. Flaps good. Artificial horizon good. Cow flaps good. Pumps on, good, good. Flaps a little bit. Looks like we found her. So now what we would do is go ahead and switch our comms over to the right channel. Shut her down. Off some speed, dropping altitude here. Then set up trim for the approach. Okay, so we're going to start setting up trim here for the approach. We'll go over the approach here once we get trim set up. Just slightly nose up. Okay, so the best approach speed and altitude that I've found that works for me, everybody's going to be probably just a little bit different, but about anywhere between 400 and 500 feet and about 140 knots gives you a good speed, a good altitude to go into your brake and be able to control you know, rudder and everything as you move into it. Now, I'm working really hard to trying to iron out. What? Okay. I'm going to call inbound. Shit.
Marshall 010. Marking Mops 34342. Angels 0.5. State 1.3.
Let's get this done. That's all. I think I had it on channel 1.
Yeah. Marshall 010. Marking Mops 34041. Angels 0.5. State 1.3.
010. Mother's weather is visibility 10 plus mile. Scattered clouds at 8,000. Altimeter is 29.903. Case 1 recovery expected BRC 160. Report see me at 10.
010. See you at 10.
010. Update state switched out.
010. State 1.3.
Okay, so at this point, they'll probably get interrupted again, but I'm trying to keep it at about 140, between 400 and 500 feet. Roughly 30 I found as a sweet spot on the manifold pressure for the brake. Applying a little bit of left rudder here to keep her straight, which I'm drifting a little bit, but once I cross the bow, I start easing into the turn. I'm going to keep making micro adjustments on the throttle, and I'm going to drop my flaps all the way. So flaps are coming down, gears coming down, hooks coming down. We'll go ahead and get the canopy open, and the biggest thing, make sure that tail wheel is unlocked. And I'm going to try to stay, when I'm parallel with the carrier, I'm going to keep trying to stay in a tight turn. Now, I'm not really good at making these British approaches, but we're going to keep trying really, really hard at eventually getting the hang of it. And so altitude's looking good, speed a little slow. I'm not going to be looking for the carrier. I've already passed the parallel to the carrier, so I'm really dropping in altitude and speed right now, so I'm going to try to get a little bit of speed. A little low, not terrible, but this is where you start dropping too quick in speed and you give it some gas, and man, she's going to want to turn on you. So back up to about 100. One thing I've noticed is you start leveling out right here, you tend to overshoot, like she's a big girl. So not the best approach. I wanted to come in a lot tighter, a lot closer. So I'm trying to keep her in the corner of the engine cowling there for visual distance. Start slowing her down here. I don't know how fuck you saw paddles at this point. Alright, not the best, but we're down. So we'll work it again. So I'm going to leave my tail wheel unlocked. Just going to ease her on into position here. Something I want to demonstrate real quick, because I've seen, especially flying multiplayer, a lot of us, well, everybody, especially if you're flying more than 2 people, you start stacking at the back. And when I first started flying, I was getting concerned we didn't have enough deck space to get off. So I want to squash that theory. I'll show you here. I'm gonna line myself up with the very first door here on the tower, right? And you would think, go ahead and lock the tail wheel, do a quick run through of everything. So trim's good, make sure it's good, flaps are good, kind of make sure we're fully aligned there. Artificial horizon's good, temps are good, cow flap's good, so we're good to go. Hooks up. So if you take a look here, doesn't look like a whole lot of space, right, to take off. But this girl gets up and starts moving, so I'm gonna start giving her gas now. And you watch her nose rock forward. Now, I haven't perfected this yet, but I can get her tail off the ground and hold her here with the torque without getting that prop on the ground. I haven't been able to take off with the tail in the air, so if I let go, it drops right back down, but I'm going to give her full throttle right here, maintaining a lot of rudder authority. Look at that, right off the net she goes, no issues. So gear's coming up, easing right back off the throttle here, bring it back down to about 45 RPM, start easing the flaps back in. One thing I personally am terrible at, I get to this point and I start thinking about setting up again for my getting in a position for the brake, and I forget to say uncage, but unsafe the tail wheel. And that absolutely makes a difference in your trap. I mean, it yanks the shit out of your plane if you have that thing off. So you definitely get a lot smoother one. So if you see the compass right now, if my wings level, parallel to the carrier, it's always good just to get habit, force a habit to remember setting that. So if I'm doing launches and recoveries, I try to just maintain 160 on the turnaround here, start dropping her down just enough to be able to drop flaps when I'm getting ready for the brake. So between 40 and 60, about 500, which is healthy enough for me. Start easing back on the throttle a little bit. Try to make this one a little better. I am coming in a little heavy on gas too, so not that that's necessarily an excuse. But since we have our compass heading set, it's really easy now to know that you're fully aligned with the carrier by paying close attention to that compass. I found that trying to keep that engine cowling in front of your engine cowling on the horizon helps. If you look at your vertical speed indicator there, and you're keeping your engine cowling right on the horizon, you're keeping it about level. So you kind of know as it starts to dip, you're going to start dropping that altitude. So I'm going to give it a little gas because I want to go into the brake as much as possible at 140. Notice below 140, you start to lose altitude really quickly, especially if you're trying to make the brake and the approach below 400. So everything's looking good, so we're going to go ahead and roll into it. We're below 160, so we'll start easing the flaps. Flaps coming down, gears coming down. Drop. VR, you can't tell out of my left eye here. I can my peripherals, I can see the plane or the carrier. So we're gonna do our best. I'm trying to get used to the sound of the engine as to where I'm at with speed too. So I'm not always looking down at the cockpit. Just taking a quick glance. I know we're above 100 here. As soon as we start tapping below 100, you can tell a difference in the way she acts. Slower she gets, more squirrely and heavy she gets. But right now, I'm feeling good. Forgot to call in. Whatever. A lot of rudder authority here. Again, really difficult to make that turn in. Oh, that's a fucking bounce. It's a 14 wire right here. So, good, I mean, good example of, you gotta find that sweet spot with the power on this thing, because I'm thinking I'm coming in too fast there and I'm gonna bounce, and I just nicked the back of the carrier and bounced anyway. So, all good, still healthy recovery, and pretty straight. So, I'll keep flying. I'm not gonna bore y'all with more touch and goes. I'm gonna practice some more. But kudos to the livery maker of this fine French Corsair, and hopefully a little bit of what I'm learning is helping someone out there. You know, still seeing some nonsense about how the aircraft flies and lands and so on and so forth. And I think the reality is they did such a fine job with the flight model. I'll give them that 100%. And I think Nick Ray even said it, that he's flown with Corsair and they're pretty spot on. She's just a new monster to tame. I mean, you just got to get used to it. You got to get the feel for it. You know, find your own sweet spot with the rudders, with the curves. Again, can't recommend Tactical Pascal's video enough with the curves. It made a world of difference for me being able to touch down every time and recover. And yeah, it just takes repetition and practice. By far no expert at this yet, but I can set her down and I can set her down straight and I can trap every time now. Now we're working out the kinks and perfecting stuff from there. And one of these days I'll have the Brit recovery down and be able to put out a badass video on it. But until then, hopefully some of this stuff assists those who are still struggling a little bit, and just knowing that I don't think all the bugs are as bad as we initially thought. I think we jumped into this plane thinking it was going to be like the other World War II fighters and not too far off flight model wise, and she just proved us wrong. So loving it, digging it. My favorite World War II fighter by far, World War II aircraft, and very, very grateful Magnitude 3 got this pushed out and it's as good as it is. If they can conquer the sound, which I won't get off in the weeds on, right? It's not terrible, but it's just not my girl. If they can get that fixed, it'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, man, can't wait for that Japanese asset pack to come out and really start getting off in the weeds with this thing with the boys and doing some actual missions and stuff we're going to throw together. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video enough to get something out of it. And yeah, look forward